In the 1760s, Boston transformed beyond a mere settlement. It rose as a vital hub within British North America. This bustling port thrived on Atlantic trade, yet tensions mounted. Tax disputes and troops fueled its explosive political landscape. See how this very city ignited a revolution and shaped a new nation. Marked by conflict, it was later remade as part of a new country. In this video, we'll use modern AI tools to animate old paintings and maps, allowing us to traverse these scenes as if we were actually there. This is Boston, as it truly was in the 18th century. To begin, we must first grasp the origins of everything. This particular scene depicts John Winthrop's fleet making its arrival in New England during 1630. This was far more than a simple landing. It marked the beginning of an ambitious, large-scale colonial undertaking. Ships, packed with families, essential provisions, and livestock, traversed the Atlantic to establish a settlement in Massachusetts Bay. Their arrival necessitated starting entirely anew, with no guarantee of success or failure. Yet they held a firm conviction that their efforts from that point forward would shape their destiny. At this juncture, Boston was not yet a capital city. Instead, it was an ongoing colonial experiment still striving to achieve self-sufficiency. Let us now progress forward. This engraving from the early 1720s presents Boston from the water, and a new atmosphere is evident. Prominently featured is Boston Harbor, brimming with vessels that sustained an Atlantic economy. This involved extensive trade with Europe, the Caribbean, and other colonies. The city no longer appeared fragile. It presented as a rapidly expanding port, exhibiting a silhouette that was becoming quite recognizable. To grasp how the world flowed in and out of this place, one crucial landmark stands out. That was Long Wharf, the lengthy pier. To truly envision it, imagine a massive wharf extending far out to sea, much like a superhighway upon the water. Long Wharf, constructed in the early 18th century, soon became the dominant feature of the waterfront. It served as the city's primary gateway. Here, cargo was offloaded, passengers disembarked, goods were transported, and Boston offered its initial impression to all approaching by sea. Beyond the wharf, the cityscape was distinguished by numerous spires and bell towers. Among these, Christ Church, situated in the north end, stood out. This church would later gain renown and is now known as Old North Church. At this phase, it remained merely a component of the local cityscape, a familiar landmark for residents and mariners, not a national symbol. Nevertheless, it stood sentinel, observing the city before chaos erupted. Regarding vital beacons for those arriving from the Atlantic, one particular signal proved impossible to overlook. That was Boston Light. This lighthouse, positioned on an island guarding the harbor's entrance, was finished in 1716. For any vessel following weeks or months at sea, sighting that distinctive light conveyed a very specific message. It meant land, safe arrival, and the end of open ocean hazards. The initial structure was destroyed in 1776 during the British retreat in the War of Independence. Subsequently, it was thoroughly rebuilt in the year 1783. While the lighthouse signaled welcome, another image served as a stark reminder of who held authority. This was Castle William, the key fortification safeguarding the harbor entrance during the 18th century, situated on Castle Island. It was not a mere military display. Instead, it controlled access and symbolized British dominion. During periods of unrest and heightened tension, Castle William also provided refuge for British officials and military forces. Upon their evacuation of Boston in 1776, the British forces demolished the site's fortifications. Subsequently, American forces refortified it, and the location continued to transform, acquiring new names and undergoing reconstructions in subsequent centuries. However, its strategic purpose remained constant: to safeguard the harbor's entrance. Moving away from the sea, we now cross over to Cambridge. By this stage, we're no longer discussing a makeshift settlement. Boston and its environs were linked by trade, governance, and educational institutions. Here, Harvard College emerges, a modest yet significant institution at the time. Long before its global university status, Harvard's purpose was to educate clergy and civil leaders for the colony. During the early 18th century, initial buildings of the yard became distinguishable. In these depictions, Harvard Hall is featured as the institution's central structure. Adjacent, early student dormitories, like the old Stoughton Hall of that period, are visible. In addition to Massachusetts Hall, let's now redirect our focus to Boston's political center. This visual portrays the old State House during the mid-18th century. During its era, it stood as one of the most significant public edifices. It functioned as the hub of colonial governance, a place where laws were debated, taxes levied, and royal authority enforced. From its balcony, proclamations were read aloud to the assembled crowds. There's a profound reason this building served as a focal point of conflict. This precise area concentrated much of the political escalation that eventually ignited. Years subsequent, on July 18, 1776, the Declaration of Independence received its public reading. It was delivered in Boston from the old State House balcony. Now, turn your attention to this open public space, Boston Common. As one of the city's most ancient public sites, by the late 1760s, it functioned as common ground utilized for pasturing, public gatherings, daily travel, military drills, and leisure activities. And it's here a striking visual of the mounting tension emerged. British soldiers training close to everyday citizens, carrying on with their lives. Witnessing British soldiers conducting drills, there was not an uncommon sight, but rather a routine part of life, a routine that increasingly burdened many colonists. In the distance, another symbol of imperial order stood, the Province House, serving as the official residence for royal governors from the early 18th century onward. This building's architecture inherently conveyed authority without uttering a single word. Even as residents strolled through the common, making purchases or engaging in conversation, the power structure remained overtly visible. This is precisely why context becomes so vital. Boston's path to revolution wasn't due to one solitary cause, but a cumulative effect. By the mid-18th century, the bond between the metropolis and its colonies strained under fiscal policies and trade regulations. In Boston, this tension manifested across the port, within customs houses, as pressure on merchants and artisans, and through military presence. The city continued to operate, certainly, but the surrounding atmosphere grew increasingly tense. This led to intensified discussions, frequent meetings, rising suspicion, and increased organization. Therefore, by the time December of 1773 arrived, the stage was already perfectly set for change. This particular scene vividly represents the action that would later become known as the infamous Boston Tea Party. Colonists boarded vessels in the harbor, then cast tea shipments into the water, protesting British tea policy and trade dominance. Numerous participants were disguised, frequently portrayed as Mohawk Indians or indigenous peoples. This was partly to conceal their identities, and partly to imbue the act with distinct symbolism. That night propelled Boston closer to overt resistance, and the subsequent British response intensified the conflict further. If you're curious where much of that coordination occurred, these types of venues proved crucial. The Green Dragon Tavern stands as one of pre-revolutionary Boston's most renowned locations. Throughout the 1760s and early 1770s, it served as far more than just a typical tavern. It functioned as a key gathering spot for various political networks and groups, including the Sons of Liberty, along with circles tied to local organizing efforts. Discussions occurred, plans were formulated, intelligence was exchanged, and practical decisions were made. The revolution did not commence with a single grand speech. Instead, it blossomed from repeated conversations that eventually spurred action. In that same Boston, a prominent building operated as the city's covered public square, Faneuil Hall. Opened in 1742, featuring a market downstairs and a meeting hall upstairs, it evolved into a focal point for assemblies, debates, and impassioned speeches. By 1775, amidst the burgeoning crisis, it already served as a barometer for public sentiment. Heated discussions centered on taxation, representation, and military presence. Crowded gatherings, social pressure, and organized resistance. For these reasons, it earned the moniker Cradle of Liberty. Following the conflict, one scene succinctly encapsulates the profound transformation. In 1789, Boston constructed a temporary triumphal arch. Its purpose was to welcome President George Washington during his visit. The arch, crafted from wood, was deliberately designed to mimic the appearance of stone. It aimed to project permanence for a nation still in the formative stages of self-definition. Just a few years prior, those very streets had teemed with protests, tension, and warfare. Now, they were adorned for celebration. For anyone present, the message resonated with unmistakable clarity. The revolution had not remained a mere promise. Instead, it culminated in an entirely new order. We cannot conclude our journey through colonial Boston without revisiting Christ Church, now recognized as the Old North Church, which was completed in 1723. This North End building, before it became famous, functioned as an ordinary Anglican church, a normal element of the neighborhood. However, as the Revolutionary crisis unfolded, this structure played a role in one of America's most iconic historical signals. Its tower was used to display two lanterns, signifying a warning that British forces were advancing by sea in April of 1775. Surviving imagery allows for a perception of historical continuity. The identical structure remains in its original location, even as the surrounding world evolves. Max here. I appreciate you journeying with me into history. To fully grasp what lies before us presently, I'd like you to share in the comments. Which city, historical site, or specific moment in time would you prefer to see reimagined? Catch you in the following epoch.